Hey gang, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I am continuing my series on taking these incredibly epic isolated vocal track performances where we get to hear what really happened behind the glass or when the red light was on from maybe some of the greatest rock legend, pop legend, R&B legend, country legend, legends of all time, right? And next up is Nick Van Eed. The band is Cutting Crew, and the song is called I Just Died in Your Arms, and what a wonderfully well-crafted piece this is. But before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. I also did a version of this song myself. I'm going to put it in the description. You can check out and see how I did. Now, why do I do this and tell you guys this all the time? Because, you know, there's a lot of options for singing courses and learning how to sing. And my belief is what Einstein said. And he said that demonstration isn't a way to teach. It's the only way to teach. Now, why that's important is so I demonstrate this with my own voice and my students' voices. So as you're on the internet or wherever you're looking for your information, make sure the vocal coach sings great and sings in the style that you want, that they can prove their technique, not just talk about it, say, buy my course, or do, you know, some reaction to something, buy my course, buy my course, you know. No, can they demonstrate it with their own voices? And they display a lot of other students doing that as well. That's really key, guys, to wanting to do this. And by the way, other programs that say you can grow your voice in a real short period of time and all this stuff, you really can't. It's a muscle, group of muscles actually, and it takes some time to develop over time. So we're going to talk about that with Nick, his vocal type, etc. But I also have I have a singing course, How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. You can find it right here at kentamplinvocalacademy.com, where I have a free singing forum with 25,000 singers over there, also talking about how to get good at singing. All right, now back to Nick. So Nick has a very unique voice. It's kind of in the tenor range, or it is in the tenor range. It's kind of little boy voice, it's particularly in this song. And he uses a lot of air in the sound, and that air is very sobre. And what sobre means, it's usually applied to more of a soprano, but it's light, bright, airy, young, and agile. So as we're going through this, I want you to put a little list down and go, yeah, light, bright, airy, young, and agile. And typically, a lot of these tenors that sing like this don't use a lot of vibrato, or really basically no vibrato. Now you can hear this in Don Henley, for example. His has a lot more girth, but he uses a lot of air. Think of Leather Legs, you know, you in the moonlight with your sleepy eye. He uses a ton of air. We're gonna hear, you know, Nick use some air here too. John Anderson from Yes. I mean, there's a lot of singers that employ a lot of this very, what I call flatline sound. So they don't have a lot of dynamic, meaning volume range, not dynamic as in notes. They use usually typically a very specific kind of tubular sort of sound that's young, light, bright, agile, airy, etc. So let's take a listen. Check it out. Here we go.
Oh, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight.
Okay, cool. Now he did use a little vibrato there, but I just died in your arms tonight. Right. You hear all that air? He's even smaller, a little boy. See, I'm 57 now, so I don't sound like a 20-year-old. It must have been something you said. Right? Now check out my version and see how I stack up, right? And look in the description, see if I cut, you know, if I cut it. But you can hear all the elements of what I'm talking about. And at the end, you can tell that there's no vibrato. And it wasn't, the intonation was a little fishy, not too bad, but check it out. It wasn't like super spot on, but when you put the track in, it's awesome. Check it out.
I just died in your arms tonight.
But when you take the track out, you can hear a little bit of intonation issues.
I just died in your arms tonight.
Right? And it's hard too, by the way, to get perfect intonation when you're not using vibrato, because you have to match it exactly. Let's continue. Here we go.
I keep looking for something I can't get. Broken hearts lie all around me, and I don't see an easy way to get out of this.
Cool. Now, for some reason, I don't remember it being that staccato. Right? I remember it being more flowy than that. So let's listen to it again. Check it out.
I keep looking for something I can't get.
So I used to think, I keep looking for something I can't get, rather than I keep looking something I can't get. Right? I don't remember it being that staccato in the sound, but it is. But if you listen to it in the track, it doesn't sound like that. Check it out.
I keep looking for something I can't get.
Now, we have the benefit of knowing what it sounded like isolated, so it's a little easier to pick it out of the track and go, oh no, I can hear it sound staccato. I just don't remember it that way. I remember it being a lot more fluid, a lot more legato, you know, in the sound. Anyway, let's continue. Here we go. Mute the track. Check it out.
Broken hearts lie all around me, and I don't see an easy way to get out of this.
Beautiful melody, man.
Her diary sits by the bedside table. The curtains are closed, the cat's in her cradle. Who would have thought that a boy like me could come to this?
Isn't that kind of cool? I think he might be British. I should have looked that up because he has kind of, it's got me and you too. Not that dramatic. And you know, Sting has a little bit of that too, but he doesn't sound like really truly British. A little bit once in a while, you kind of hear some little nuance of that, right? But I'm saying, well, check this out. So listen to the inflections of a little bit of tone. I'm going to add
the diary sits by the bedside table. The curtains are closed.
Curtains are cold.
The cat's in her cradle.
The curtains are cold. A cat's in the cradle. Right, you can kind of hear it, right?
Who would've
and he may not even be, and he was like, Ken, what are you doing, man? You're messing up my song. That's not me. Again, I should have looked it up. Shame on me. But it sounds like that to me.
Thought that a boy like me could come to this.
Could come to this.
Oh,
hey. All right, it's good. All that air. Check it out.
I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said.
Right, it must have been. Maybe he's Australian, I don't know. But there's some musting going on there, if you ask me. But anyway, I'm not making fun of it. It's actually pretty cool. But all right, so now the harmony was a little bit of, you know, again, there was some intonation stuff. It's hard to do that on a single line, a single vocal, not stacking a bunch of vocals, randomizing error. But so you can kind of hear the pitch issue. Listen.
I just died in your arms tonight.
But especially on the end of tonight.
I just died in your arms tonight.
Yeah, right, a little bit. But with the track, it sounds killer. Check it out.
I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight.
Now, the encouraging thing is that you can tell they sung it differently each time, and you could tell the harmony was sung differently each time, so they didn't cut and paste, and you're not hearing like a computer cutting and pasting all these parts together. This is live stuff, man. It sounds great. It's awesome.
I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been some kind of kiss. I should have walked away.
A little more vocals there.
I should have walked away.
What, 3 or 4 vocals there, right? All right, let's check this out here.
Is there any just cause for feeling like this? On the surface, I'm a name on a list. I try to be discreet, but then blow it again.
Cool.
I've lost and found, it's my final mistake. She's loving by proxy, no give and I'll take. Cause I've been through to fantasy one too many times. I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight.
Now, it was interesting on that one, the harmony wasn't as loud as the other parts of the track. So either he didn't sing as loud, the engineer didn't have it up as loud. It just was, oops, I don't know. But anyway, now, again, I have to say this. These are really, like I said, I'm choosing the most epic songs in all of pop and rock history. So I am not here to show how awesome Ken Tamplin is, to find fault with everything and everything. No, I'm just putting some flesh and blood on this for you guys to go, well, what a trip. I guess I immortalized that song and I eulogized it in such a way that I just thought everything was perfect, when in fact it's not. But that's actually what's cool about it, is it's real people aspiring to greatness, doing real things like this, telling you too can aspire to greatness and do awesome things. Now, this song's been around a long time and it's withstood the test of time. Man, and you know, it's really hard to write a hit song, let me tell you. And this is certainly one of them. So when I go through all this stuff, I really want you to know I'm doing this in the spirit of just being honest and candid. And I don't want to say brutally blunt and honest, because I don't want to be brutal to anybody. But I do want to know you to know that I'm not here just to ingratiate everything. And I'm not here to just point the bad out. I want to point everything out so we all can grow together. And I want to be very fair about it. So know that that's the heart and intent within which I'm doing this stuff, okay?
Oh, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been some kind of kiss.
I love it. Must have been some kind of kiss. Right? Who wouldn't love to be able to do that? That's great. All right.
I should have walked away.
There's a 3-part there.
I should have walked away. It was a long, hot night. She made it easy, she made it feel right. But now it's over, the moment is gone. I followed my hands to my head, I know I was wrong.
I love the emotion in the song, it's really cool. All right, we're gonna continue on, here we go.
I just died in your arms.
So they added the same thing they had at the beginning of the song, and a big hit in the front.
I just died
very dramatic.
In your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight.
Now, I have to add one more thing to this, guys. We're living in a world and in a culture where the #1 song or whatever, if it was #1, whatever, is WAP or whatever. And it could be the thong song from the 90s. I don't care. But we've degenerated in music from something so beautiful and so elegant and eloquent and just something so enchanting and romantic and every adjective I can throw at you with this kind of songwriting. It's just so beautiful, and you could just see, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. And it doesn't matter, you know, there was a lot of bands writing really great stuff. Survivor, you know, wrote some good stuff. And so, and I'm gonna do a thing on them too at some point soon. But I say that because this is classy, quality, timeless songwriting. It's beautiful. It makes us all reminisce. It's just, it makes us dream about it, right? And I don't mean dream about WAP. I mean dream about romance and dream about relationships and enchantment and just all these different things. And the guy just scores a 10 in every single box you check for something like this. So I say that because we're just not getting that kind of music today. I'd love to see that come back around. And it doesn't matter if it was the 40s, it could be, you know, 50s, Frank Sinatra, you know, Fly Me to the Moon, I don't care, you know, but it has that quality songwriting. And I just had to annotate that and kind of make a comment along the way because this is just phenomenal and I just really appreciate it. So I'm also picking pieces of music that I feel are not just flavor of the month, grab, you know, the latest top pop star stuff. I want to really educate you on music as best as I can, or at least share information. Educate sounds kind of pompous, but anyway, I'm doing that with whatever information I have to share that with you in hopes that you also can grow from it, okay?
Alright, I just died in your arms tonight.
Now it's a 3-part.
It must have been some kind of kiss. I should have walked away. I should have walked away.
So as you can tell, you know, there was some imperfection in some of this stuff, but it fits cool because it also, when you start to auto-tune things and you start to take away all of the personality of something, you find that you really destroy the emotion, the heart. The music just starts sounding like AI created it or something. And we're seeing that now where now I guess AI can do a takedown of, you know, Nirvana or something and write their own songs that sound like Nirvana and they kind of sound like Nirvana. That's kind of creepy because we're dehumanizing music and we're you know, leaving it over to robotics in a sense, which is really odd. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this as much as I did, and please definitely stick around and check out my next video.